Hello everyone, welcome to the Learning Sandra Show channel. My name is Alexandra, and in today's video we're going to be solving the JAMB CBT past question for the subject Literature in English year 2023, and we're definitely tackling question 45 to 64, so you don't want to miss this. Stay with me and I'll be right back. Question 45. The literary devices in the dialogue above are dash. The best answer to this question is hyperbole and allusion. Hyperbole is a figure of speech that uses exaggeration, whereas allusion is an indirect reference. Now, what do we mean by indirect reference? Okay, so allusion is designed to call something into your mind without directly saying that thing. So let's go into context. Now, this is a dialogue between the barber and the cyclist. Okay, the cyclist happens to be maybe his client, right? So the cyclist says, all right, if you are sure it won't take long. And then the barber replies, I am known for my lightning clippers. Exaggeration. Even the soldiers know me. I can shave the head of an entire battalion between one coup and the next. Another exaggeration, okay? Now, where does allusion come in, right? So we can say that the use of the word soldier, battalion, coup, which is associated with military rule, right, is an allusion. Okay, so Wole Soyinka is a Nigerian, so we can say that his work is set in Nigeria, and Nigeria has a long history of military coup, right? Okay, so this is associated with the Nigerian history of coup. It symbolizes and is associated with political instability and all of that. So the answer to this question is definitely option A, hyperbole and allusion. Question 46. So I had not taken the first step in knowledge. I had not learned to let go with the hands. The above lines is an example of dash. So the best answer to this question is repetition. So when we speak of repetition, it is repeating the same word, same phrase or clause, right? And in this question, you see I had not is repeated in the first line as well as the second line. I had not, okay? So when we speak of alliteration, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds, initial consonant sounds. Initial, we mean the first sound making the word, okay? And we can see that it's not in this example, right? It's not in this excerpt. Okay, so when we speak of apostrophe, apostrophe is addressing someone that is absent or something that is absent, okay? So you're directly speaking to someone or something as though they are present and they can respond to you, okay? So when we speak of assonance, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds, nearby vowel sounds. So the best answer to this question is definitely option C, repetition. Okay, so question 47. So what is the effect of the tree's sign in this verse? Now this question is based on the recommended text, and the title of the poem is Cage Bird, and as you can see there's an excerpt to help us solve this question, okay? So what is the effect? Now the best answer to this question is option C. It indicates that the bird is carefree, and when we speak of carefree, carefree is to be without worries, to not worry about anything. Now when you take a look at the excerpt, you understand that the sign trees create a peaceful, a calm environment, okay? And the bird, which thinks of another breeze, suggests that the bird is enjoying its freedom and is at ease in its environment, in its surroundings, in its atmosphere, okay? And when you are not worried about anything, when you're at peace with your surroundings, rather, you are not worrying about anything. You don't get to worry about anything or anything that happens and all of that. So that's what it means to be carefree. So option C is the best answer to this question. Question 48. Don't panic, be calm. If you're somehow upset, try to regain your composure. The speaker in the excerpt above is dash. The best answer to this question is definitely confident, okay? Because these words are reassuring. These words are guidance, okay, on how to, approach situations like this, handle situations like this, right? It's definitely not hopeless, afraid or uncertain, because the tone is positive. So the final answer to this question is definitely option C, confident. Question 49. So this question is based on a government driver on his retirement. I shall bose and Zoom contains a device called dash. The best answer to this question is onomatopoeia, option C. Okay, so onomatopoeia is or refers to words that, imitates the sounds they describe. Okay, alliteration is repetition of initial consonant sounds. Imagery is the use of vivid, detailed description, that appeals to the senses. Senses, I mean, sense of touch, sense of sight, and so on. Hyperbole is the use of exaggeration. So in this context, in this question, the word zoom is an imitation of the sound from fast movement. Zoom, right? Right. So that is onomatopoeia. So option C is the final answer to this question. Question 50. So the sun used to smile in my heart. The line is an example of dash. The best answer to this question is personification. So personification is giving the qualities of humans to inanimate objects or to abstract ideas. And in this case, it is the sun. The sun used to smile. Okay. So when we speak of apostrophe, apostrophe is speaking to an absent person or an abstract idea as though they can reply you, speaking directly to them. Okay, so rhetorical question is asking a question to make a point rather than demanding a reply or response. Okay, so zeugma is also a figure of speech and it's a word that applies to multiple parts of a sentence. So it is linking two different ideas with a single word. For example, he lost his phone and his temper. So the word linking two different ideas is lost. So you're losing your phone, you're losing your temper, right? So the best answer to this question is option B, personification. Question 51. So the use of two contrasting words that are placed side by side is called dash. The best answer to this question is oxymoron, right? Oxymoron is placing side by side two contradictory words. For example, bittersweet. So you're using bittersweet together like that in a sentence. Okay, so when we speak of euphemism, euphemism is using mild statements to describe a terrible situation. Option C, pun is a play on words. Option D, antithesis. Antithesis is contrasting ideas. For example, two ideas in the same structure. An example of antithesis is many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. So you can see similar structure. It is at a stretch in the sentence, right? They are brought together in the sentence, but the idea is to show the difference, to contrast, and that's the difference between oxymoron and antithesis. And for oxymoron, it combines two contradictory terms at a stretch in a sentence, right? For antithesis, you're contrasting the ideas. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option E, oxymoron. Question 52. So the combination of two or more metaphors is called dash. The best answer to this question is option C, mixed metaphor. It's a combination of two or more metaphors and it is used to create a humorous effect. For example, she's a shining star, but let's not open a can of worms. She's a shining star is one metaphor. Can of worms is another metaphor. Shining star portrays an outstanding personality. Can of worms portrays trouble, problem, right? So other types of metaphor include implied metaphor, we have dead metaphor, we have extended metaphor. For option A, monometaphor, it's not a terminology in literature. Metaphor is also not a standard terminology in literature. Combined metaphor makes sense, judging by the way the question has been presented to us, right? But it's also not a standard terminology in literature. So the best answer to this question is option C, mixed metaphor. Question 53. So dash are generally regarded as brief but purposeful references within a literary text to a person, place, event, or to another work of literature. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option D, allusion. Allusion is a purposeful reference. Okay, so the aim of allusion is to connect something with something else that you and I are familiar with, something that the audience or reader is familiar with. Okay, so option A, referrals, that's not the answer because referral is not a terminology we use in literature. Okay, chiasmus is a literary device and it is when the words making the first half, right, is reversed in the second half. For example, you forgot what you want to remember, but you remembered what you want to forget. Okay, so metonymy is also a figure of speech in which a word is replaced with something associated with it. Okay, so the best answer is option D, allusion. Question 54. So an action in a play that stimulates the audience to pity a character is dash. The best answer to this question is pathos. Pathos, option D. It is an emotional appeal that is used to evoke pity or sadness from the audience. Okay, when we speak of props, props are the objects used on stage. When we speak of parody, parody is a humorous imitation of a specific literary work. Okay, pyrrhic, option C, does not relate to emotional appeal. It relates to metrical fruits in poetry. Okay, so the best answer to this question is definitely option D, pathos. Question 55. So the dominant poetic device in the excerpt above is dash. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option B, imagery. Imagery is the use of vivid description or detailed description that appeals to the senses. And when you take a look at the lines in the excerpt, you see that it's a vivid description of the swallow. Okay, so you see where light passes through, a sudden turning upon itself, a deep to the water, the swallows are flying. So like, these are vivid description of the swallow. And so the best answer is imagery. Rhetorical question is a question that makes a point rather than requesting for an answer. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sound. Paradox is a contradictory statement or situation that may be true. So the best answer is option B, imagery. Question 56. So when an object is invested with a meaning beyond its immediate reference, it becomes dash. The best answer is a symbol. Option A is the final answer to this question. A symbol is used to represent ideas that are beyond physical existence. Okay, when we speak of irony, irony is saying the opposite of what you mean. A subject in literature refers to the topic or the theme, right? An epigram is a short, witty statement. So the final answer to this question is definitely option A. Question 57. So a story with elements that have both literal and figurative meanings is dash. The best answer to this question is allegory. Now, allegory is any work of art, be it prose, drama, that is interpreted to have a hidden meaning. An example of this, which is a famous example, is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Okay, so in this story, we read about farm animals who overthrow their human owners and establish a society for themselves. Now, the pigs who initially started this revolution became corrupt leaders, tyrannical leaders, and this mirrors the Russian Revolution as well as the rise of totalitarianism in Russia. Okay, so what then is the literal meaning? What is the figurative meaning? The literal meaning is the story itself that talks about farm animals revolting against humans and establishing a society for themselves. And then the figurative meaning is that each of the characters in this story represent a group from the Russian Revolution. So you need to read about Russian Revolution and then read the story, the text, Animal Farm, to better understand how allegory is used. Okay, so option A is the final answer to this question. Question 58. So a tragic hero, according to the Aristotelian precept, must be a dash. The best answer to this question is option C, noble character with hubris. Okay, so according to Aristotle, a tragic hero is typically a person of noble birth or social status. We also know that a tragic hero is one whose mistake or character leads to his downfall or destruction. Okay, so hubris is used to mean pride, arrogance, excessive pride and arrogance. Okay, so option C is the best answer to this question. Question 59. The poetic device in the expression rage is chief is dash. The best answer to this question is definitely metaphor. So metaphor is a direct comparison. What do we mean by this? We are saying A is B. So in this question, we see rage is chief. Okay, so the best answer is option C, metaphor. Question 60. So the image set in the lines above are of dash. The best answer to this question is option B, discomfort and likely destruction. Now, when you take a look at the excerpt, you see that the storm behavior is compared to that of a dog and it suggests possible chaos. Okay, so when you look at the last statement, we were the fleas that complained in his hair, this suggests that we are powerless in the face of the storm. So the answer to this question is definitely option B, discomfort and likely destruction. Question 61. So the overwhelming pride that destroys a tragic hero is called dash. The best answer to this question is option C, hubris. Hubris is a term in literature that is used to mean, excessive pride or an uncontrollable pride that leads to the hero's downfall. When we speak of nemesis, nemesis is the downfall brought by fate. When we speak of catharsis, is the emotional release experienced by the audience. Tragedy is a genre of literature that is characterized by sadness or the downfall of a character, a noble character, the hero, for example. Now, the best answer to this question is option C, hubris. Question 62. So the sonority and rhythmical structure of the lines above are achieved through a pause pattern called dash. The best answer to this question is option C, caesura. So caesura is a deliberate pause within lines of your poem, okay? And in our last lesson, specifically question 42, I talked about caesura, which I gave an example. And in that example, we see the use of semicolon used to represent caesura, okay? So in literary analysis, right, we use semicolon to indicate caesura, and as you can see in this excerpt, you can see semicolon also. Okay, when we speak of scansion, scansion is, or it involves identifying stress and unstressed pattern in each line of your poem. So enjambment occurs when a sentence continues from one line to the next. Okay, so apostrophe is basically a figure of speech, you know, speaking to a person as though they are present to an abstract idea. Okay, so the best answer is option C, caesura. Question 63. So, fruits with firm flesh illustrates the use of dash. The best answer to this question is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sound, first consonant sound. So we can see, okay, repeated thrice. Fruit, firm, flesh. Okay, so option A, onomatopoeia, it means a word that imitates the sounds that describe it. Okay, consonant is the repetition of consonant sound at the end of the word. So alliteration is at the beginning of the word, right? Consonant is usually at the end of the word, okay? So assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds, okay? So that's different between consonants and alliteration. Alliteration is the beginning, consonant is the end, right? So option D is the final answer to this question. Question 64. What happens to the unknown woman in the passage above? Okay, so the best answer to this question is she is dead. And how do we know this? Okay, so when you read the excerpt, you find out that the last statement, the last line, right, gives us a hint about this. Okay, where she lay, a good fit beneath. Okay, so option B is the best answer to this question. Okay guys, so we've come to the end of this amazing lesson and I'm sure you've learned so much. Okay, do not forget, if you have better explanation to any of those questions, feel free to share in the comment section below. I would love to read them. Okay, do not forget to give me a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, you might be helping someone out there. Okay, so thank you once again till I see you in my next video. Bye.